So you want to sue your dealership. Okay, in today's video, I'm going to go over the laws and regulations that protect you as a car buyer, whether it be a new car or a used car. Later in the video, I'm going to talk about some best practices to always observe when you're buying a car. And also I'm going to talk about some tips when you're buying a car that can protect you in the event that a dispute arises between you and the car dealer. My name is Mehdi Cherkaoui. I'm a civil litigation attorney in Houston, Texas. My channel provides general legal information or litigation information to the masses. If you like this kind of content, please subscribe, hit the like button, and click on the bell icon so you get notification of every video that I post. Let's get to it. Okay, so it is no secret that buying a car is one of the most dreadful and pleasant experiences that a consumer has to go through. Well, unfortunately, we all need cars on a daily basis. So it is likely that most of us will go through the car buying experience multiple times in our lives. So if we're gonna buy a car anyway, might as well be prepared and know our rights and how not to get ripped off by a car dealership. The first question is, what are my rights if I buy a defective vehicle that is brand new from a car dealer? Well, under most states, they're gonna offer you, or the state is gonna offer what we call a lemon law. And lemon law basically is a law that protects a consumer and offers them relief in terms of compensation for buying a vehicle that is brand new, that is under warranty, and that has experienced the need for repairs for the very same issue over a certain amount of times. So for example, you buy a car, it's brand new, you drive it for 2-3 weeks, then you have an issue with the air conditioning. You take it to the dealer, they fix it, they bring it back to you, the same issue occurs. Something with the air conditioning. Then again, you take it back to the dealer, they try to fix it, or they think that they fixed it, they give it back to you, the same problem occurs. Most states are gonna have attempts between 4 to 6 times to fix the very same defect before the lemon law applies. So you would basically get an attorney, or you can do it on your own if you research lemon laws in your particular city and state, and you have to send them a notice basically describing what occurred, the make and model of the vehicle, the date of purchase, and also describe the repairs that you had to do, how many times you had to seek repairs for the very same issue, and why is it that you feel that you're entitled to either compensation in terms of getting your money back, or perhaps the manufacturer giving you a new vehicle. Also, most lemon laws are going to award you attorney's fees that you had to pay for an attorney in order to pursue a claim under the lemon law. The second question is, and this is probably the most common, is what are my rights if I buy a used car from a dealer? Well, I'm here to tell you that even if you buy a used car from a dealer, you still have protections under most consumer law. Keep in mind, I'm only licensed in the state of Texas. I can only speak as to consumer law in the state of Texas, but I am fairly confident that most states have similar consumer laws that protect the consumer in the event of them buying a defective vehicle that is used from a car dealer. So most car dealerships are going to put a sign, a little form on the window right next to the price that says this used car comes as is, no warranty. We've all seen those forms. It either means that there is no warranty from the dealer, but if there is a balance of warranty from the manufacturer, that's what you'd be getting. That's what you'll get transferred with the vehicle to you. Or in the event the vehicle is outside of the manufacturer's warranty, well then basically they're telling you that you're on your own, the vehicle has no warranty, not by the dealer and not by the manufacturer. So you buy a used car, for example, and then you take it out, a week or 2 or 3 weeks later, you discover there is a major defect, okay? It depends on the severity of the defect. So let's say if it's a broken tail light, or if it's a light bulb that's not working, or radio is not working, those are small issues that it's probably best to simply fix them on your own rather than having to go back and forth with a dealer. But what is relevant for this video are major defects. For example, the vehicle has been in a flood, so there's mold in the car. the vehicle has had frame damage, the vehicle has been in multiple accidents or even just one, and that was never disclosed to you by the dealer. So let's talk about what the DTPA, the Texas Deceptive Trade Practices Act, which is a consumer law that is very consumer friendly and protects the consumer in the event of such cases. So if you discover that your vehicle that you bought used has a major defect, such as a frame damage, then you would want to address that with the dealership, find out what is it that they want. A lot of times clients call me directly before even addressing the situation with the dealer. So you want to address it with them first and see if they're willing to fix it. There are one of two situations that usually occur in this case. Either the dealership knew about the damage, they knew that there's frame damage, they sold it to you anyway. That's probably the worst kind. The second kind is that they missed it. They were supposed to inspect it, or perhaps they did inspect it, but the dealership employee never discovered either the frame damage or the flood damage or even an odometer rollback. These are serious defects in the car that seriously impact the value of the vehicle. So in that case, if they refuse to take the car back or if they refuse to fix the vehicle, then you are able to file a claim under the DTPA. It does require that you send them a notice, a pre-suit notice, and allow them up to 60 days to respond and try to compromise with you. If they fail to respond or they offer you something that is utterly unacceptable to you, well, then you're able to file a lawsuit. The jury in a case like this is going to be asked to determine whether there is enough evidence that the dealership intentionally concealed a defect from you. In other words, they knew about it and they said to themselves, let's not tell this guy, let's just sell this car and then hopefully he never find out. Or if he does find out, it will be years down the road. In this situation, the jury under this law can award you, the consumer, up to 3 times the value of the car and other actual damages. This is as a punitive measure to deter this kind of fraudulent and deceptive practice. The other scenario is that they did not know about it. Unfortunately for the dealer, in this case, it's not a defense. It's not a defense not knowing, because the law looks at the dealership as a professional establishment that is in the business of buying and selling cars. If they did not discover the defect, then who would, right? So they're in the best position to discover this defect. Therefore, the law would hold the dealership liable if they should have discovered the defect, but they never did. One thing I can tell you out of experience is that my office gets very often very good response, positive responses when we send the pre-litigation notice of suit. Why is that? Because most dealerships understand that they don't have the best reputation in the community. Everybody that's going to be sitting on that jury box almost certainly has had a bad experience with a dealer. So they know that going to trial is not in the best interest of the dealership. So most of the time, if you send a pre-litigation notice through an attorney or individually, then they're likely to compromise with you and realize that they can be liable for a lot of money under the law. So that is a positive thing when it comes to having some kind of early compromise instead of having to deal with a 1 or sometimes 2-year lawsuit. The DTPA also offers you attorney's fees. So whatever fees that you paid your attorney that wrote the letter or filed the case, those can be added as additional damages against the dealer. So how do you protect yourself as a consumer from ever having to file a lawsuit against a dealer? There are a few things that you need to know that can protect you against ever having to file a suit with a dealer. So the first one that I highly suggest and recommend is take the car out for a test drive. You'd be surprised how many people buy a car without taking it on the first drive, on a test drive. In fact, this can come back and bite you in the event there is a lawsuit when the dealership's attorney basically says, you had an opportunity to drive the car. Yes, did you? Well, no, I didn't. Okay, so when you drive the car, most of the time you'll discover defects. Take it around the corner, stop signs, red lights, etc. But most importantly, take the car out on the highway. take it up to speeds of 60, 65 miles an hour, that's when most defects will be discovered. If the vehicle is pulling to one side, that tells you that there's an issue either with frame or there's an alignment issue, issues with the wheels and tires. That's something you want to address. If the vehicle is shaking, if the vehicle wobbles, if the vehicle has a knocking sound, all those are telltale signs that this is not the right car and you want to either move on to a different car or simply go to a completely different dealership altogether. The second thing you can do is take the car to the mechanic. So you've driven a car, you test drove a car, you like it, spend $100 taking this car to a mechanic. It'll be the best $100. Think of it as an insurance so that you don't have to worry about, discovering any defects. Take it to the mechanic and have the mechanic inspect it. If the dealer refuses to let you take the car to a mechanic, that's another red flag that you should move on from that car and perhaps from that dealership. Third point, always negotiate price and not payment. Dealers want you to focus on a payment, always negotiate price. To help you do that, if you're buying the car cash, well, that's a no-brainer. But if you're financing your vehicle, always bring your own financing from the bank or the credit union. Because when you come into the dealership, at that point, you're acting as a cash buyer. You don't have to worry about their interest rate. You don't have to worry about their payments. You're buying the car as if you were paying in cash because you do have a check from the dealership. Another pitfall that most consumers fall for is that they think that the battle, the car buying battle ends with the salesman, the car salesman. So once there's a deal and you guys agree on the price or the payment, then you let your guards down because you think that it's all smooth sailing from now on. That is not the case. I would submit to you that there's a bigger battle that waits for you at the finance office. You're going to go into this room and you're going to be greeted by a well-dressed gentleman or lady that's very nice to you, that's going to basically try to sell you all kinds of products and literally make much more money on the deal that they may have made during the sale. You want to make sure that you do not buy first of all, keep your guards up. If you're buying cash, decline every single offer to finance. If you're bringing in your own check from the bank or the credit union, then you don't need to talk about interest rate. The finance officer is not looking for your benefit. They are going to overcharge you for every single thing that they can sell you, including the interest rate. If you qualify for a 4% from the lender, they'll try to give you a 5%. They'll overcharge you for accessories like LoJack, warranties, and other accessories on the car. Decline and reject the offer to buy any accessories. Any accessory or warranty that you are offered, even if you're interested, you're likely to get a much better deal outside of the finance office. Be very careful at the finance office. Another point, do not sign any document that's not completely filled out, because I've seen examples where people were presented with documents that bears their signature, but the information in the document has been filled out after the consumer signed, and that information has not been agreed upon by the consumer. Do not sign a document at the dealership that has not been pre-filled. Finally, and I'll leave you with a very important point, always try to buy a car from a franchise dealer. Don't go to the small corner lots. Perhaps you have bad credit. Your credit is not as good as you want it to be, and you think that going to these car lots are gonna work with you or finance you. That couldn't be further from the truth. Those dealerships, the small ones, they use the same lenders as the big ones. So if one can finance you, certainly can the other. The reason why you want to go to a big franchise dealer is because they have a reputation that they want to protect. They have assets, they have a name, they have a relationship with the manufacturer. They're less likely to sell you a lemon, they're less likely to sell you a defective vehicle, and they're more likely to work with you if there is an issue, especially when you hire a lawyer. As I said before, most dealerships want to settle disputes. The last thing they want is to go to trial. Now contrast that with a small dealer. When you go and buy a car from them because you don't have good credit, these dealerships are absolute sharks. They will charge you astronomical interest rate. They will overcharge you for the car. The cars they sell are often in bad shape and have major defects. And then to add insult to injury, they will add a disabling device in the vehicle in the event that you do not make a payment on the due date. Literally the next day, they can remotely disable your car so that you're not able to drive it to work simply because you missed a day or two. This is something that you're not going to see with the big dealers. So stick with the big dealers. Franchise dealers, they're more likely to resolve your dispute if one should arise. I hope you enjoyed the content of today's video. I ask you to subscribe, hit the like button, and I'll see you on the next one.